The Great Lakes region of North America, heartland of the United States, is home to several culturally diverse waterways. The arterial rivers divide the landscape with vast open waters, connecting together to form the Mississippi River basin. Their waters carved a trail in the rock and sediment, forever altering and transforming the nearby terrain. These rivers are superhighways transporting billions of dollars worth of goods each and every year. These waters are critical to agricultural produce in the United States and throughout the world. Nearly 4 out of every 10 ears of corn grown in the world come from the Mississippi River watershed. 65% of the entire United States production is based out of the Midwest. First physically mapped by the French explorers Joliet and Marquette, early French settlers utilized the waterways to interact with the local indigenous tribes, facilitating the fur trade. These waterways were developed through a system of levees and locks by the United States in order to facilitate the massive volume of commerce that passes through these rivers today. The locks help ships navigate changes in elevation along waterways and enables larger ships to traverse them. These systems work to also help control flooding and seasonal highs and lows of the river, effectively moderating the flow of water and increasing its volume to enable larger flows of commercial traffic. These levees and dams also help produce hydroelectric power, powering local energy needs and contributing to larger electricity grids. Bridges were constructed to allow physical traffic over the rivers and to connect both halves of the Mississippi River Valley. Indigenous groups utilized the rivers to help their trade networks that would span across the country. They were trading obsidian from the Rocky Mountains of Wyoming to copper in Lake Superior, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico where marine shells were found. Along with that, they would also trade shark teeth from the Atlantic. This trade network spanned the entirety of these rivers' watersheds and provided a highway for easier cross-country trade. Evidence of this trade network is shown based on the presence of these materials in sites across the span of the watersheds. Later river ventures began to commercialize travel and transit across the river to major metropolitan cities along the river's edge. Travel between Cincinnati, St. Louis, Memphis, and New Orleans were just a boat ride away. Usage and control of these rivers were a vital part during the American Civil War for both troop movement and control of trade. The first settlers in this area were hunter-gatherers who utilized the landscape to hunt buffalo and to scavenge for nuts, berries, and seeds. They would often remain highly mobile, not staying in one location for long durations, and as such had no permanent settlements. By enabling the implementation of large-scale agriculture, the fertile river soils allowed for the specialization of trade and industries in the societies that inhabited the region due to an increase in food productivity. After the rise of agriculture, we began to see the rise in monumental architecture and the construction of larger earthen mounds. These earthworks often depict animals or spirit effigies, and some mounds contain human remains. The effort required to build these mounds was substantial, as the only tools available were stone hoes, shovels, and basketry. There were no complex mechanisms or beasts of burden that were employed during the creation of these mounds. Dirt for these mounds was removed from riverbeds, stacked, and molded into the mounds by hand. The first settlement humans created around these life-sustaining waterways consisted of earthen habitation mounds. These settlements were comprised of large earthen works upon and around which houses and other urban structures would be constructed. An example of this is Monk's Mound in Collinsville, Illinois, which is right across the Mississippi River from St. Louis. Monk's Mound is the main mound of a pre-Columbian settlement called Cahokia. Cahokia contained a population between 10,000 and 20,000 around 1050 AD to 1200 AD and was one of the largest settlements in North America at that time, which was also larger than London at that time. The first European explorers and settlers to the region were Father Jacques Marquette, a Jesuit missionary, and Louis Joliet, a fur trader, in 1763. This began a wave of migration as people from all across Europe began moving to North America with the hopes of finding a new life. They braved a long, dangerous trip across the ocean just to experience the wilderness. Modern cities continue to alter these waterways to assist their daily lives. Chicago rerouted the Chicago River in 1887 and eventually threw canals and locks to the Illinois River Valley, marking the final connection to the vast array of water systems. These waterways are not only lifelines because of the value that they provide for fresh water and for food resources, but also their ability to transport cargo and facilitate trade. Their value should not be understated, as throughout history, they have proved to be a valuable and vital resource that benefit us daily. If you enjoyed content like this and you enjoyed seeing what we do here, please be sure to follow us on our social media. We release a podcast every other week, and we post shorts and TikToks here and on our TikTok. So please give us a follow and leave a like. It really helps us out and we appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and until next time.